That's not possible. What took place can't change who you are. The two kids will try to be like you because that's how you raised them. When he died, O.J. Simpson left behind $3 million. His children got jewelry made from his ashes, but there was something else that was left behind. After he died, his daughter finally told everyone about it. She talked about how Nicole had to deal with being followed, pushed around, and scared. She also told them what O.J. told his children about the night in 1994 when two people were killed. It was not in court that she testified. It came from secret talks that got out to the press. What she said goes against his innocence and brings shame to his name. O.J. Simpson was born in one of San Francisco's worst housing projects on July 9, 1947. It was a place where crimes and poverty were common. Jimmy, his father, was a hospital porter, but he kept a secret from his family that caused them to split up. Jim left them when O.J. was only 5 years old. He was found to be gay after many years of hiding it. He died of AIDS in 1986. Eunice, O.J.'s mom, had to work long hours at UCSF Medical Center for very little pay, sometimes just $1.25 an hour. Their tiny apartment didn't have heat, had broken windows that were covered in cardboard, and had power outages that went on for weeks. Because his family couldn't afford milk, O.J. got rickets when he was only 2 years old. Docs were afraid he would never be able to walk again because his legs were so bored. His mom didn't give up, though. Some bent wire hangers and torn bedsheets were used to make leg braces for her. He had to wear them for 3 years of pain. Kids made fun of him, called him names, and laughed at the way he walked. That changed when he turned 8. He shocked everyone by running faster than the boys who used to make fun of him. He became a member of the Persian Warriors gang when he was 13. They were very active in the drug scene in their area, and O.J.'s first step was to steal something worth at least $100. On March 15, 1961, he was caught. A switchblade was used to rob a liquor store, and he was found just 3 blocks away. The officer who arrested O.J. remembers him. They laughed like it was nothing. He got out of debt because his mother pawned her wedding ring. He did community service by cleaning up graffiti, some of which he had put there himself. After that, he was caught selling stolen car radios and sent to a youth detention center that was already full of more than 800 other criminals. He later died in Vietnam with his cellmate. Something changed that summer of 1962. Great baseball player Willie Mays came to talk to the kids. Told O.J., "Kid, you can steal bases instead of cars." He kept thinking about that line. Mays even put his name on a ball and wrote, "Run toward your dreams." It took O.J. 35 years to sell that ball in order to pay his legal fees. Things were not much better at school. His grade point average was only 1.7. He always skipped school. In 1 year, he missed 127 of the 180 days of school and failed both English and math. His SAT score was only 690 out of 1,600. He was a different person on the sports field, though. He ran for 1,453 yards in just 9 games at City College of San Francisco. He ran for 367 yards and 5 scores in a game that will never be forgotten. Colleges began to want to recruit him. John McKay, the coach at USC, is said to have even come to his flat and offered $10,000 to his mother. He didn't even get to train in the spring when he joined USC, but he killed his first game. He would throw up before every game, but he would play great afterward. He ran for 64 yards to help his team beat UCLA in 1968, even though his ankle was badly hurt. That year, he ran for 1,880 yards and scored 23 scores. Of the 1,050 first-place Heisman votes, 835 went to him. There had never been such a big winner. But life at USC was messy when the game wasn't going on. In 1967, someone said something racist to him, which led to a fight at a bar. The news in USC didn't say anything. Boosters paid for him to live in a fancy apartment. He hung out with drug dealers, dated actors, and had a child with a classmate. It is said that the school paid $50,000 to hide it. Later, his friends said that O.J. kept a gun with a loaded magazine in the flat and was connected to illegal betting rings. Most of his grades at USC were not real. Grad students did his work, so he got A's even though he didn't go to class. He even paid other people $500 per test to take his tests. Someone in graduate school wrote all of one of his papers. His text was changed several times so that he could still play. Even though he never finished his degree, he still walked at the 1969 graduation. That year, he was picked first overall in the NFL draft and signed a record-setting $650,000 deal. He didn't want to play in Buffalo, though. After 32 days, he finally got to go to LA. The owner of the Bill had to offer him a car lot and other perks to get him to sign. NFL staff had to step in and clean up the mess. After they gave him power over all of his marketing deals, which made him millions, he agreed. During his first season, he had a fight with the coach and wouldn't even run some plays. He once told the coach, "That play is stupid," during a live show. That year, he ran for only 697 yards, and he really thought about giving up. He even called his old college coach to talk about moving sports. It was worse in 1970. He only ran for 488 yards, and the Bills had one of their worst years ever. Behind the scenes, O.J. was drinking a lot and breaking down. He missed the team bus because he was too drunk after a bad loss in December. He once said that he drank a whole bottle of whiskey every night to deal with things. He was still drunk from the night before one game, and he got into a fight with his boss. At age 23, he almost gave up. He hurt himself in a practice game in 1971 and didn't tell anyone about it. To stay able to play, he paid a private doctor to give him cortisone shots. He clearly limped as he ran for 156 yards in one game. His knee was so swollen afterward that he couldn't go upstairs. He had trouble with that injury for the rest of his career because it never healed properly. Afterward, he said that from 1971 to 1979, he got more than 200 cortisone shots. When Lou Saban became head coach in 1972, things started to change. He found out that O.J. was living alone, eating microwave meals, and didn't have any real help. To help him feel less alone, Saban started taking him to dinner, planning social events, and even setting up double dates. When O.J. wanted to leave the team, Saban set up a meeting between him and the owner of the team. They gave O.J. a $2.5 million, 5-year deal with a clause that said he couldn't work for anyone else. They even changed the whole approach to focus on him. In December 1973, a football game did something that had never been done before. O.J. Simpson ran for more than 2,000 yards in just 14 games for the Buffalo Bills. That had never been done before. He ran 2,003 yards in the end, and the weather made it even harder. It was so snowy on December 23 when the Bills played the Steelers that fans couldn't even see across the field. It was 40 miles per hour outside. The temperature went down 12, and there were 3-foot-deep snow mounds in the field. To see the yard lines, coaches had to shovel snow in between plays. Even though there was a lot going on, O.J. ran 28 times for 157 yards. As a whole, he gained 143 yards each game that year. A number that is still one of the best ever. He did it in a season with only 2 games less than the one we have now. But he wasn't tough just because of the snow and the numbers. In the first quarter of the game on October 14, 1973, against the Baltimore Colts, he took a hard hit and injured his shoulder. After putting it back in, X-rays showed that he also had a torn tendon and a separated AC joint. He went back in anyway. He ran 39 times, gained 168 yards, and scored 2 scores. His trainers kept putting ice on his shoulder and gave him 3 painkillers, cortisone, Darvin, and butazolidine. He even used his hurt arm to push a defender away on his last score. Afterward, he said the pain made him pass out, but he never quit running. The team doctor said it was the bravest thing he had ever seen. 15 years from now. After that, O.J. didn't miss a single practice, and he played in the next game with the gear that he made himself. Even though they were so good, there were problems with the team. In November, O.J. learned that the Bills had ordered normal cleats instead of the ones he had asked for. He lost it. He stormed into the coach's office, threw his helmet at the wall, and said he wouldn't play in the next 4 games if he didn't get what he wanted. It wasn't just the spikes. He also wanted personalized pads, tape, and a list of all the things he needed. He was called a prima donna by the general manager, and they yelled at each other in front of the other players. The owner had to break up the fight because it was getting too bad. The team had a 9-5 record, and OJ was on the cover of Time magazine. But he told reporters behind closed doors that he felt mistreated and unsupported by the team. In the same year that he was setting marks, a legal storm was slowly building up. A hotel worker named Carmen Rodriguez sued him for $50,000 on September 8, 1973. She said that OJ pushed her down a flight of stairs at the Plaza Hotel after a fight over a $47 champagne bill. It took place at 2:30 in the morning on August 15. She ended up in the emergency room with a broken rib and a sprained wrist. Records showed that he had been drinking and that he was with 2 women. His lawyers tried very hard to keep it out of the news because Hertz and Wilson had big advertising deals with him. The case was quietly over in January 1974. The next season was even better, and OJ shocked the league again, this time with money. His letter to the Bills on February 14, 1974, asked for $1 million a year. At the time, he was making $150,000. That's why it was a huge raise. That's not all he wanted. He also wanted to be able to use the team's private jet and get $25,000 every game he ran for more than 100 yards. He refused to give in for 67 days after talks broke down. He didn't go to training camp while his friends worked out in 95-degree heat. He was even paid $15,000 to be on The Tonight Show. It was burned by fans, and season ticket sales dropped by 23%. The team finally gave up and gave him $733,358. He was the first player to make more than $700,000 a year in salary and bonuses. As part of the deal, the team had to give him his own massage for away games. From 1977 to 1974, OJ did things that didn't look like they could be done. Even though the Bills only won 2 games that year, he ran for 1,117 yards in just 14 games. Everyone on the bad team knew he was going to run with the ball, but no one could stop him. That year, the quarterback only threw for 1,300 yards, and no other running back on the team got even 400 yards. OJ rushed for 23 scores, which is almost half of the team's total. He had everything on his own back. He was moved by the Bills to the 49ers in a huge deal in 1978. They got 5 picks in the draft, 2 in the first round. It looked good at first. In his first season, he ran for 1,053 yards, but something wasn't right. He was 25 pounds overweight when he got back from partying and looking for movie parts during the offseason. He wasn't in shape enough to make it through training. He told his friends that he was forgetting the playbook more than the movie scripts. People began to call him Juicebox Office. Behind his back. When he quit his job in 1979, OJ was 11,236 yards long. Because most of his teams were losing, that was really cool. In 1973, he ran for a record 300 yards with one of the league's smallest offensive lines. Against Pittsburgh in 1976, he ran for 275 yards. Most of that came in the second half, when the team was already down badly. He later said that he had been in so much pain with his knees during the last 3 seasons that he needed illegal cortisone shots before games. He never sat out, even though it could hurt him forever. He tore several ligaments in his knee in a game against the Jets in November 1977. He didn't stop, so he had doctors inject him with a new drug that hadn't even been fully tried yet. He came back in and ran for a 45-yard score, but this time he didn't use the fake limp. Following scans, an ACL and MCL tear, along with a partly separated kneecap, were found. After many years, he admitted that he had used that drug in 6 more games. Even though experts told him not to use it, the drug was later banned because most people who used it became addicted. After he retired, OJ went into radio and TV. NBC gave him $500,000 a year even though he had never worked before. They hired him to compete with Don Meredith, who is the new host of ABC. He seemed sure of himself on screen, but he was having a hard time behind the scenes. Even simple lines had to be read from a script because he couldn't handle live TV. In 1978, NBC also had to deal with his court problems. A bartender who refused to serve him hit him, so he was charged with that. The bartender was paid $15,000 by NBC to drop the claims. They were worried about O.J.'s mood swings even though he was happy for the camera. His first movie role was in The Klansman, which came out in 1974. In the role, he played a black man who gets back at haters who hurt him. This event was rough, violent, and divisive. The director wanted O.J. even though he had never been trained to act. It didn't make much money and theaters didn't want to show it. O.J. said that going through the part helped him remember being racist as a child. He played a slave catcher in Roots in 1977. The part had a violent scene where his character beats up another person, which shocked the whole country. Over 3,000 people told ABC they didn't like it. O.J. cried after filming the scene. Who played the part said it broke his heart. He took the job anyway because he thought it was important to show how horrible slavery was. Over 130 million people watched the show, and some sent him death threats because it seemed so real. He played the lead role in Capricorn 1 in 1978. This is a movie about a fake journey to Mars. He hurt his ankle while shooting, but he wouldn't let anyone help him so he could finish his scenes. He thought there were conspiracies and often talked about them with his co-stars. Even one sad scene had to be filmed 47 times by the team, which cost $200,000 more than planned. Though the movie did well at the box office, reviewers said he didn't act very well. After that, he kept getting action parts. In the same year, he was in the TV show Goldie and the Boxer, which became a big hit. The People's Choice Awards put him in the running for an award. He also became the face of Hertz rental cars at the same time. People became very familiar with his ads in which he ran through airports jumping over suitcases. He made more from those ads than from his NFL pay, $1.5 million a year. He even planned the stunts himself, and fans surrounded him while they were shooting. George Lucas asked him to make a cameo in The Empire Strikes Back in 1980. The plan was for a stormtrooper to take off his helmet and show O.J.'s face. However, O.J.'s lawyer asked for $500,000. This was only for 3 days of work. Lucas thought that was crazy and broke the deal. Lucas even thought about giving O.J. a new character that would join the rebels. But O.J. didn't want to wear a cap and said that everyone had to be able to see him. That cost him a lot of money in sales. O.J. made more than 30 ads for Hertz between 1975 and 1994. People were asked not to copy the 1980 LAX ad because it was so well known. It brought in more than $5 million for him, and it helped Hertz grow its rental car market share from 35% to 42%. Before Michael Jordan came along, he was the most well-known black spokesman in the country. But some businesses did not do well. He started O.J. Footballs made by Simpson Bronco. You could expect them to be of good quality. The players got hurt, though, because they were so badly made. One player hurt his wrist when the ball wobbled in a strange way. The item was taken off the shelves, and Simpson was sued for $500,000. He was accused of not doing enough to ensure quality. The case finished without a fuss, and the company shut down the following year. O.J. Simpson fell in love for the first time when he was a teen. In San Francisco, they met at Galileo High School, where they both went to school. When O.J. was only 19 years old and already trying to make it to the NFL, they got married. Soon after, on January 4, 1968, their daughter Arnell was born. It wasn't until April 1970, when their boy Jason was born, that they were ready for what happened in August 1979. Aaron, their youngest child and only 23 months old, drowned in their pool on August 18. She had been beneath the water for too long and was discovered asleep. After 8 days, she died at UCLA Medical Center. In March of that same year, O.J. they got a divorce, and it was official. That time, O.J. had already met Nicole Brown, who was 18 years old. In 1977, they met at a venue in Beverly Hills where she worked as a waitress. That was the end of his marriage of 12 years. After many years, on New Year's Day 1989, things went horribly wrong. At 3:58 a.m., Nicole called 911 from their home in Rockingham. She told the dispatcher, "He's going to beat me up." When the cops arrived, they found her hiding in the bushes outside in only a bra and sweatpants. Her lip was split, her eye was black, and her neck was bruised in the shape of a hand. O.J. It was said that he yelled that he didn't want her in his bed anymore and called her bad names before hitting her. Even though there was a lot of proof, he was only charged with a crime. His guilty plea to spousal abuse on May 25, 1989, got him only 120 hours of community service, a $200 fine, and therapy. In court, the judge told him how cocky he was. Nicole stayed with him for 3 more years. After the fact, her friends said she was scared to really leave him. Their wedding took place at O.J.'s house on February 2, 1985. It cost more than $500,000 and had 400 people, some of whom were famous. Sydney was born on October 17, 1985. She is their daughter. After that, on August 6, 1988, their son Justin was born. Behind the scenes, though, O.J. tried to keep Nicole from doing anything. He hired private detective Anthony Pellicano after they broke up in 1992. Pellicano later went to prison for wiretapping famous people. O.J. spent $100,000 a month to keep an eye on Nicole all the time. Trackers were even put on her Ferrari, and people were sent to follow and take pictures of the guys she dated. A friend of O.J.'s from the past said in court that O.J. had once said he dreamed about killing Nicole. He would just stand outside the places where she ate and stare at her through the window for hours. Nicole told her friends that she always felt like someone was watching her. Even after they got divorced on October 15, 1992, the following people kept following them. Between 1992 and 1994, her sister Denise kept track of 17 different cases of abuse. By 1991, O.J.'s money was going down the drain. Hertz had fired him. Since 1975, they had paid him $550,000 a year. The divorce bills and attention to domestic violence made things worse. He had to pay $10,000 a month in child support and $500,000 in cash for the divorce. To make money, he had to charge $12,000 a month to rent out his huge house in Rockingham. In 1992, he was only getting $750,000 as an NBC analyst, down from $1.2 million a year before. He also had tax debts of $180,000 and a loan of $300,000 against his NFL salary. Cashed out the $75,000 insurance on his Heisman Trophy and started selling his sports collectibles. Friends saw that he was thinking about money all the time. He even charged money to go to charity events that he used to go to for free. In both sports and Hollywood, people began to stay away from him. Nearly no one knew that he had a vasectomy in 1986. It was one of his best-kept secrets. Nicole asked for another kid in 1987, so he had the procedure undone, which cost $15,000 and was very painful. This was how Justin was born in 1988. Things that were shocking came out in 1993 during family therapy. A secret study by Dr. Burton Katz that was later made public said that O.J. admitting to having major control problems. He said it was because he grew up poor in Potrero Hill, San Francisco, and his father left the family when he was 5 years old. The doctor heard him say that he felt like he had to own the people in his life. He wrote down every day what Nicole wore, where she went, and people she met. He also said that he used drugs while he was playing football, which some experts later thought might have made his anger issues worse. He even said he had violent dreams over and over again where he felt in charge. These meetings happened just 1 year before the killings. Nicole, 35, and Ron Goldman, age 25, were both stabbed to death outside of Nicole's home at 875 South Bundy Drive on June 12, 1994. Nicole was stabbed many times and had a cut throat. Ron tried to fight back by getting 30 defensive cuts. The same night, O.J. when he flew to Chicago at 11:45 p.m., he had new cuts on his hand. Between 10:15 and 10:40 p.m., the killings took place. The police called him at his Chicago hotel in the morning. He went back to Los Angeles by plane. Right away. The crime scene had blood on it, as well as on a glove at his home and in his white Ford Bronco. He was quickly named as the main suspect. Police said Nicole had called 911 8 times while they were married, which helped them figure out why she did what she did. When he was meant to turn himself in on June 17, 1994, something strange took place. Instead of being there, O.J. his friend Al Cowlings and got into a white Ford Bronco. They then led cops on a 90-minute slow-speed chase across L.A. More than 95 million people saw it live. He was in the back seat with his papers, $8,850 in cash, and a .357 Magnum gun to his head. We told the cops about O.J. when Cowlings called them. He could kill himself. Before, Simpson's lawyer Robert Kardashian read a note that said O.J. "I've had a great life," he said. At 8 p.m., the chase stopped peacefully at his home. He was caught after having some orange juice and calling his mom. The trial began on January 24, 1995, and went on for 134 days. A lot of people called it the trial of the century. More than 90% of people who watched TV saw the decision. Lance Ito was the judge. Simpson had a well-known defense team that was led by Johnny Cochran and Robert Shapiro. Marcia Clark and Christopher Darden were on the defense team. Most people remember when Simpson tried on the bloody gloves and found that they didn't fit. Many people know that Cochran said, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." The defense said the cops messed up with evidence and were racist, especially against Detective Mark Furman. The mostly black jury found O.J. not guilty of both killings after only 4 hours of deliberation. A huge rift opened up in public thought, especially between people of different races. The story wasn't over, though. In 1997, a civil jury decided that O.J. he was found to be guilty for the deaths and had to pay $33.5 million in damages. $12.5 million went to Ron Goldman's family. But Simpson filed for bankruptcy and used legal tricks to keep his money safe. There are rules against taking his $575,000 home in Florida, where he now lives, so he had to move. They got less than 1% of what they were due over the years, or about $500,000. Even O.J.'s Heisman Trophy was taken with him. Simpson, on the other hand, was living well, playing golf, and making money by appearing in public. The families were still having a hard time with the legal fees and the mental pain.